Alright. I'm gonna read away. I'm gonna read Away to Love verse here. We're near the end of this project, and just feeling so comfortable and procrastinating on the comfort spiral train of the evening, where I smoke a spliff and eat some candy and play some music. Not quite there yet, which is great. Really beautiful, productive day to push that off for so long. So I think we're up to suffering and glory. I know it's been a while, but I think you're gonna enjoy this, Benjamin. Okay, suffering and glory. Was it not necessary that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory hole? There's no hole at the end. This is glory. That is Luke 24:26. All right, think of some painful events in your life. How many of them are you grateful for today because thanks to them you changed and grew? Here is a simple truth of life that most people never discover. Happy events make life delightful, but they do not lead to self-discovery and growth and freedom. That privilege is reserved to the things and persons and situations that cause us pain. Every painful event contains in itself a seed of growth and liberation. In the light of this truth, return to your life now and take a look at one or another of the events that you are not grateful for, and see if you can discover the potential for growth that they contain, which you were unaware of and therefore failed to benefit from. Now think of some recent event that caused you pain, that produced negative feelings in you. Whoever or whatever caused those feelings was your teacher, because they revealed so much to you about yourself that you probably did not know. And they offered you an invitation and a challenge to self-understanding, self-discovery, and therefore to growth and life and freedom. Try it out now. Identify the negative feeling that this event aroused in you. Was it anxiety or insecurity, jealousy or anger, or guilt? What does that emotion say to you about yourself, your values, your way of perceiving the world and life, and above all, your programming and conditioning? If you succeed in discovering this, you will drop some illusion you have clung to till now, or you will change a distorted perception, or correct a false belief, or learn to distance yourself from your suffering as you realized that it was caused by your programming and not by reality. You will suddenly find out that you are full of gratitude for those negative feelings and that person or event that caused them. Barnes, come here. Barn. Bunny barn. Off the barn. Now take this one step further. Look at everything that you think and feel and say, and do that you do not like in yourself. Your negative emotions, your deficits, your handicaps, your errors, your attachments and neuroses and hang-ups, and yes, even your sins. Can you see every one of them as a necessary part of your development, holding out a promise of growth and grace for you and others that would never have been there except for this thing you so disliked? And if you have caused pain and negative feelings to others, were you not at that moment a teacher to them? Oh man. An instrument that offered them a seed for self-discovery and growth? I don't like it when you say those things, Anthony De Mello. Can you persist in this observation, till you see all of this as a happy fault, a necessary sin that brings so much good to you and the world? If you can, your heart will be flooded with peace and gratitude and love and acceptance of every single fucking thing. And you will have discovered that people everywhere are searching for and never find, namely the fountainhead of serenity and joy that hides in the human heart. The utter collapsing of the dichotomy between our assessments of good and evil, of right and wrong, of this served my interest, this doesn't serve my interest. The reality is we have no idea what happens for what reason. And that idea of recognizing that when you were the instrument of pain for some other, that was you doing God's work, is a really intense idea. And I trust I'll leave that blank. I'm trusting in something whose name I don't know to integrate and experience the reality of that truth without moving into something that would be akin to from the perspective of the light side, where we seem to think we reside, to the dark side, which seems to not really be a thing because the polarities just even out. So finding the motivation towards peace and healing and love and connection and gratitude, independent of actually believing what? That's better. I'm stuck here. This is a difficult to integrate notion for me, and I don't know what to make of it. De Mello. Barnes. Any ideas? Barnaby. You are adorable. What is something that sucked when it happened that I have gratitude towards now? Really? Yeah, I'm very happy to be where I am now, and I worry that any one thing having had happened differently would have resulted in me not being here now. Makes it hard to find regret for the bad things at the moment. I sense that. For me, I frame it as a feeling of like karma burning off in pain and suffering. So all the suffering, it's like my nose itches right now, and my not scratching it is somehow carefully titrating pain. Is that right? I don't know. Something now. What is a now thing? I'm not a fan of. Now thing. There's some conflicts. There's some friendship. Real tragic feeling. Yeah, some things are really hard. There's some people who are so difficult and feel so scary and unreachable. And there's a sense of the rest of my life tiptoeing around. And there's collective societal spirits and energies that I feel similar aversion towards and fear of and blame at. It's so cool when you're able to, in the moment of being with a difficult person, see them for the gift that they are. For one thing, the energy you bring. Kat, you're so cute. I can't do it. Barnes, I can't even do it. I don't have anything to say. I just want to get up and end the video now. But this animal is so comfortable. I guess I'll read another one. Why not? Got a minute? Alright. Fire on the earth. I was hoping to make a short video that maybe someone would watch, like 5 minutes. Oh well. Thank you for joining me here in this moment. I came to cast fire upon the earth, and would that it were already kindled. That's a great fucking line. I came to cast fire upon the earth, and would that it were already kindled. I don't understand. Luke 12:49. This is called Fire on the Earth. If you want to know what it means to be happy, look at a flower, a bird, a child, a Barnaby. They are perfect images of the kingdom. See you, cat. For they live from moment to moment in the eternal now with no past and no future. So they are spared the guilt and anxiety that so torment human beings, and they're full of the sheer joy of living, taking delight not so much in persons or things as in life itself. As long as your happiness is caused or sustained by something or someone outside of you, you are still in the land of the dead. The day you are happy for no reason whatever, the day you find yourself taking delight in everything and in nothing, you will know that you have found the land of unending joy called the kingdom. To find the kingdom is the easiest thing in the world, but it's also the most difficult. Easy because it is all around you and within you, and all you have to do is reach out and take possession of it. Difficult because if you wish to possess the kingdom, you may possess nothing else. Right. That is, you must drop all inward leaning on any person or thing, withdrawing from them forever the power to thrill you or excite you or give you a feeling of security or well-being. But I love certain things so much because they feel so good, and I want more of them forever. And there is no forever, and it'd be perfectly all right without it. And to move through the valley of the shadow of the... it's so tricky. So tricky. My mind moves into all or none thinking so quickly. And that's unwise in a world of gray. And yet another part says to move through the valley of the shadow of the death of anticipation is the bridge to the kingdom of heaven. It's like I can find it, but I don't know if I'm really there because I haven't actually avowed my anticipations. For this, you first need to see with unflinching clarity the simple and shattering truth. Contrary to what your culture and religion have taught you, nothing, but absolutely nothing, can make you happy. The moment you see that, you will stop moving from one job to another, one friend to another, one place or spiritual technique, one guru to another. None of these things can give you a single minute of happiness. It can only offer you a temporary thrill, a pleasure which initially grows in intensity, then turns into pain if you lose them, and into boredom if you keep them. Think of the numberless persons and things that so excited you in the past. What happened? In every single instance, they ended up by causing you suffering or boredom. Did they not? It is absolutely essential that you see this, because till you do, there is no question of your ever finding the kingdom of joy. Most people are not prepared to see till they have suffered repeated disillusionment and sorrow. And even then, only 1 in a million have the desire to see. They just keep going at it, pathetically knocking at the door of other creatures, begging bowl in hand, craving affection and approval and guidance and power and honor and success, for they ostensibly refuse to understand that happiness is not in these things. If you search within your heart, you will find something that will make it possible for you to understand, a spark of disenchantment and discontent, which, if fanned into flame, will become a raging forest fire that will burn up the whole of the illusory world you are living in there by unveiling to your wandering eyes the kingdom they have always lived in unsuspectingly. Have you ever felt disgusted with your life, sick at heart of constantly running away from fears and anxieties, weary of your begging rounds, exhausted from being dragged about helplessly by your attachments and addictions? Have you ever felt the utter meaninglessness of working for a degree, then finding a job and settling down to a life of boredom, or, if you're an achiever, settling down to a life of emotional turmoil caused by the things you're chasing after? If you have, and is there a single human being who hasn't, the divine flame of discontent has arisen within your heart. Now it is time to feed it before it gets stamped out by the routine chores of life. Now It's the holy season when you simply must find the time to get away and look at your life, allowing the flame to grow and grow as you look, refusing to let anything distract you from this task. Now is the time to see that absolutely nothing outside you can bring you lasting joy. But the moment you do that, you will notice that a fear arises in your heart, and the fear that if you allow the discontent to be, you will turn into a raging passion that will grip you and cause you to revolt against everything that your culture and religion holds dear, against a whole way of thinking and feeling and perceiving the world that they've brainwashed you into accepting. This devouring flame will cause you not just to rock the boat, but to burn the boat to ashes. Suddenly you will find yourself living in an altogether different world, infinitely removed from the world of the people around you. For everything that others hold dear, everything they are crying their hearts out for, honor, power, acceptance, approval, security, wealth, is seen for the stinking garbage that it is. It disgusts and nauseates. And everything others are forever running away from holds no terrors for you anymore. You have become serene and fearless and free. You have stepped out of your illusory world and into the kingdom. Do not confound this divine discontent with hopelessness and despair that sometimes drive people to madness and to suicide. It is not the mystical drive to life, but the neurotic drive. Let me read that again. Do not confound this drive, this divine discontent with the hopelessness and despair that sometimes drive people to madness and to suicide. That is not the mystical drive to life, but the neurotic drive to self-destruction. Do not confound it with the whining of people who are forever complaining about everything. These people are not mystics, but bores merely agitating for improvement of prison conditions, whereas what they need to do is burst out of the prison into freedom. Most people, when they feel the stirring of this discontent within their hearts, either run away from it and drug themselves with the fevered pursuit of work and social life and friendship, or they channelize the discontent into social work, literature, music, so-called creative pursuits that make them settle for reform when what is needed is revolt. These people, even though they are full of activity, are not really alive at all. They are dead, content to live in the land of the dead. The test that your discontent is divine is the fact that it has no trace of sadness or bitterness to it at all. On the contrary, even though it often arouses fear within your heart, it is always accompanied by joy, the joy of the kingdom. And here is a parable of the kingdom. It is like a treasure lying buried in a field. The man who found it again and buried it again. The man who found it buried it again, and for sheer joy went and sold everything he had and bought that field. If you haven't found the treasure yet, don't waste your time searching for it. It can be found, but it may not be searched for. You don't have the slightest notion what the treasure is. All you are familiar with is the drugged happiness of your present existence. So what will you search for, and where? No matter whether your heart for search rather in your heart for the spark of discontent, and tend the flame till it becomes a conflagration of your world, and your world is burned down to a heap of rubble. Hardcore, young or old, most of us are discontent merely because we want something. More knowledge, a better job, a fine car, a bigger salary. Our discontent is based upon our desire for the more. It is only because we want something more, and more of us are discontented. It's only because we want something more that most of us are discontented. But I'm not talking about that kind of discontent. It is the desire for the more that prevents clear thinking. Whereas, if we are discontented, but not because we want something, but without knowing what we want, if we are dissatisfied with our jobs, with making money, with seeking position and power, with tradition, with what we have and with what we might have, if we are dissatisfied, not with anything in particular, but with everything, then I think we shall find that our discontent brings clarity. When we don't accept or follow, but question, investigate, penetrate, there's an insight out of which comes creativity, joy. Mostly the discontent that you feel comes from not having enough of something. If you're dissatisfied because you think you do not have enough money or power or success or fame or virtue or love or holiness, this is not the discontent that leads to the joy of the kingdom. Its source is greed and ambition, and its fruit is restlessness and frustration. The day you are discontented, not because you want more of something, but without knowing what it is you want, when you are sick at heart of everything that you've been pursuing so far, and you are sick of the pursuit itself, then your heart will attain a great clarity, an insight that will cause you mysteriously to delight in everything and in nothing. Okay. Cheers. There are 3 more. So exciting. Exciting. It's so exciting. I'm so excited. Can't you tell? Be well, you.